Not too long ago, I posted here that the 24-70 f2.8 was the best lens for weddings. I also said that prime lenses were a hassle and not a necessity. But I was wrong. I recently got my hands on the Sigma 35mm f1.4 and wow, I had no idea what I was missing out on. So after a few months and a handful of weddings using the 35mm, I'm here today to explain why I now prefer prime lenses over zooms and when you should definitely not use prime lenses. The first thing I wanted to say is that I'm obsessed with prime lenses now, but it's not because of the lower aperture. In fact, even though the 35mm can go as low as 1.4, I rarely shoot before 2.8. I honestly think we don't need super low aperture unless it's in low light condition or if the background is a bit ugly and you want to kind of blur it out a bit. But here's the thing. Even at aperture 2.8 or any other aperture, the image quality of a prime lens is just so much better than a zoom. It's sharper, more dreamy, and the colors are just richer, deeper, and just more beautiful somehow. Plus, shooting with prime lenses makes me move more and it challenges me to be extra thoughtful with my composition. I feel like I'm now more aware of my angles and the story I want to tell with each shot. One of the main reasons I used to say that the 24-70 was the best was because I thought that the 24mm focal length was essential to get those wide shots at weddings. But to be completely honest with you, after using the 35mm, I realized that you can just take a few steps back and get those wide shots. Now, my ultimate wedding combo is the 35mm in one camera and the 85mm on the second camera. It's seriously the dream combo and I don't see myself switching it up anytime soon. Alright, so with all that being said, I wanted to talk about when you shouldn't use prime lenses and why I wouldn't be too quick to ditch my 24-70 or any other zoom lens. 1. If you only have one camera body. If I only had one camera body, I would 100% stick with the 24-70 for weddings. Because weddings are so fast-paced and I just don't think that using only one focal length is realistic. And I also think that having a more versatile setup is a lot more handy, especially because some moments call for that tighter lens and you definitely don't want to be up at people's face to get those close-up shots. And I also think that swapping lenses throughout the day isn't very sustainable because you waste time, but you also risk missing those once-in-a-lifetime moments. So you need to make sure you're prepared all the time. And because I do have a second camera body and I have the 85mm lens, then working with the 35mm is perfect for me. 2. For group and family photos. Taking family photos can be so chaotic. You have to make sure everyone fits in the frame and you have to make sure you're fast. So even though with the 35mm you can take a few steps back, I just feel like using the 24-70 is so more practical and handy. So what I do now, right after the ceremony ends, I swap out the 35 for the 24-70. I get the group photo and I do family photos and then I swap back to my 35mm. 3. If you're just starting out. If I was new to photography and I didn't have any lenses yet, I would definitely start with the 24-70 f2.8 because it can replace multiple prime lenses and it's a cost-effective way to cover a broad range of focal length without breaking the bank. So if that's your case and you're just starting to invest in photography gear, then I highly suggest watching this video here on why I consider buying the 24-70 f2.8. So was I wrong about prime lenses? I'm not ashamed to say that I was, but it's all about knowing when and how to use them. If you have the right gear and the right setup, prime lenses like the 35mm can definitely elevate your work. But what about you? Are you team prime or are you team zoom? Let me know in the comments down below. And if this video added any value to you, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you on the next video.